Welcome back, everybody, to the deep dive.
Yeah.
Have you ever
It's good to be back.
held a really nice piece of paper,
Yeah.
like a really beautiful piece of paper, and thought,
Yeah. Yeah.
how did they make this?
I know what you mean.
How is that even possible?
Absolutely.
Today,
Yeah.
we are diving into the world of artisan papermaking.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
who knows? Maybe this could be your dream career.
That's right.
We've got RoleCatchers,
Yeah. RoleCatchers are.
in-depth guide for aspiring paper artisans,
Yes.
plus the inside scoop
I love their guides.
on their platform's tools.
Yeah. They're really helpful.
Okay.
Their tools are really, really useful.
Let's just dive right in.
Yeah. Let's do that.
What does an artisan paper maker
Yeah. That's a good question.
actually do all day?
What do they do? Oh, it's really interesting, actually.
Because you say artisan paper maker, it's
Yeah, right.
way more. I think of,
It's more than just like, I don't know.
dipping like a screen in some pulp.
like a sieve.
And like, that's it.
Yeah, no, it's way more than that.
Yeah.
It's like a surprisingly detailed process.
Oh, really?
It's surprisingly detailed when you look at all the steps.
Okay.
It's like, wow, this is kind of extensive.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do they do?
So, it's a fascinating blend of like tradition and technology,
Okay.
artistry and business.
Oh, wow.
It's a really cool blend. Like, a lot of people might not realize how much goes into crafting a single sheet of like really high quality paper.
Okay, so it's a lot more than just the art.
Yeah.
There's like a business side to this.
Yeah, it's technical too.
And a technical side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, you got to understand the properties of all these different fibers.
Fight.
Like, from cotton to bamboo even.
Really?
Yeah. You can use recycled materials even.
Oh, wow.
It's about precision and like mixing the pulp and controlling how it dries. And often they even use specialized equipment.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So they're not just like
Yeah.
using their hands all the time.
They use their hands a lot, but
Okay.
yeah, there's like machinery involved too.
Interesting. Okay, so
It's pretty cool.
what would you say is like
Yeah, what would you
the
say?
most unexpected part
Yeah, that's a good question.
of that whole process?
I would say, well, they even talk about troubleshooting machinery in
Right.
the RoleCatcher guide.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Like what?
So it's not just this artistic flair, there's a technical, almost mechanical side to it as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you have to be
You got to be kind of handy.
handy.
Yeah.
And an artist.
It's cool.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like a really cool blend.
That's really interesting. Okay.
An artisan papermaker needs that problem-solving mindset.
Yeah.
That ability to diagnose why a batch isn't coming out right.
Right.
And the guide highlights how that ties into quality control, which is something that clients value highly.
That makes sense.
Yeah, yeah,
Because if I was going to pay for like a really nice
absolutely.
custom-made paper,
Of course, yeah.
I would want it to be
It's got to be perfect.
perfect.
Exactly. Like, if you're commissioning some custom paper for, like, I don't know, a limited edition art print or something, you're going to want it to be good. You're going to want it to be consistent, like each sheet.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Interesting.
It's really cool. And that's where it gets, I think, really cool.
Even cooler than troubleshooting.
Even cooler. This is like next level.
Okay.
Okay, so RoleCatcher talks about specialization.
Oh,
Yeah,
like you could specialize
you can specialize. This isn't just like
in a certain type of paper making.
one size fits all. You can do whatever you want.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You could focus on archival quality papers. Like, if you're really into preservation and like, making sure things last a long time, you could experiment with like embedded botanicals, which is really cool.
Like flowers and stuff.
Yeah, like you've seen that. It's really cool.
That's really cool.
Or you could even create paper specifically designed for certain printing techniques. Like, there's so many different niches you can get into.
Wow. So it's like,
It's super cool.
it's really neat.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's really up to you. It's like whatever you want to do, you can kind of forge your own path, which is really neat, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if someone's listening to this,
Yeah, if you're listening.
and they're like, this sounds
This sounds awesome.
great.
Ah, this is a great field. I think you should do it.
But is it? Yeah. But is it right for you?
Right for me. That's a good question to ask.
What should
That's really important.
they be considering?
Yeah, it's easy to romanticize working with your hands,
Right.
creating beautiful things.
Yeah. But like any career, there's some realities you get away. Like, it's not always going to be sunshine and roses and beautiful paper.
Right.
Yeah. You're going to have some tough days.
So what do we need to...
What should we be thinking about here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So RoleCatcher actually doesn't shy away from this. They actually talk about the pros and the cons.
Oh, well, that's good.
Which is really helpful.
Yeah.
Because you've got to go into this with your eyes open.
Right.
Like I said, don't want to romanticize this.
Okay.
It's important to be realistic.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are some of the
Yeah, what are we talking about here?
pros and cons?
Yeah, they lay it all out there.
Okay.
It's really helpful. One thing they're upfront about is that there's limited job opportunities,
Really?
especially at the start.
Yeah. So it's not like you
You're not going
want
to
to
graduate
Yeah.
and then have a job waiting for you.
Papermaking.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Of course.
Yeah, you're going to have to hustle a little bit, and then you're...
Yeah, you're going to have to network.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
it's not as straightforward as some other careers.
So you're saying, like, even if we love paper,
You got to be passionate.
what we still got to think about?
You got to love it.
You got to really love it.
The job, the career.
Because it's going to be challenging, at first,
Yeah.
especially at the beginning. Yeah.
Okay.
You got to really be willing to put in the work. But the good news is, the pro side, they highlight the potential for self-employment or freelancing.
Right. Because we were saying that you
I
might...
have to create your own path.
You're right, exactly. You
the
might have to be entrepreneurial about it,
Right.
which some people love and some people don't.
Right.
So that's something to consider too. Like, are you comfortable with that?
Right. Right.
But the good news is that opens up a lot of possibilities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're not just, you could be your own boss, set your own hours,
Mm-hmm.
work from home if you want.
It's pretty cool.
Like one company.
Yeah, there's a lot of flexibility there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like anything, it's a trade-off. Like, you're going to have more freedom, but you're also going to have more responsibility.
Right.
Right. You're going to be the one drumming up the business, managing your finances. It's a lot to take on.
Right.
Yeah. But,
Mm-hmm.
if you're cut out for it, it can be incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's super rewarding.
So what would you say to someone who's like,
What would you tell them?
yeah, okay,
I think I could...
I could handle all
this.
these.
Yeah, bring it
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. What advice would you give them?
But how do I...
Yeah. How do you even get started? That's a good question. Because it's not always clear, right? Like, where do you even find these opportunities?
right.
It's not like you can just, open up the newspaper and find artisan papermaking jobs.
Right.
It's not really like that.
That's very niche.
Yeah, it's very niche. So you got to be a little more creative.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to think outside the box a little bit. And that's actually something else that RoleCatcher talks about, which I think is really helpful.
Like how to find...
How to find these opportunities.
Yeah.
They give you some really good advice because, it can be daunting, right? Like you're saying, you love paper,
Yeah.
you think you can handle the business side, but how do you actually make it happen?
Right, yeah.
So they give you some really concrete tips, which is great.
Like what?
Like what? Okay. So one thing they emphasize is networking,
Okay.
which makes sense because this is a field, like we said, it's very niche.
Yeah.
Word of mouth is huge.
Okay.
Building relationships is huge.
Okay.
Right. So they actually suggest going to craft fairs,
Okay.
meeting other artisans,
Right.
meeting potential customers,
Yeah.
building those relationships because you never know where your next opportunity is going to come from. So they really emphasize that. Just putting yourself out there, talking to people, being passionate about your craft,
Yeah.
showing people what you can do. It's not just about like churning out the paper. It's about
Right.
understanding the market,
Yeah.
maybe even teaching others, which is something that, a lot of people don't think about. But if you can share your knowledge, share your passion, that can open a lot of doors.
Right.
It can. It really can.
So it sounds like it's not just about
It's not just about the
Yeah.
paper making.
paper making.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you kind of
It's about, it's about the whole package.
have to have
You got to be a little bit of an entrepreneur.
that kind of personality.
Exactly. Be able to sell yourself, sell your work.
Right.
Yeah. And not be afraid to, put yourself out there a little bit.
Right.
Because I guess you
You could be the most talented paper maker in the world.
could be the best paper writer.
Exactly. But if nobody knows about you,
Eh,
it's not going to do you any good.
If nobody knows who you are,
Right.
then it doesn't really matter.
You got to get the word out. You got to network.
Right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's all about who you know sometimes, unfortunately. So
Oh.
how do we find these people? That's a great question.
Now you
The
do
RoleCatcher can actually help you with that too.
find those people.
Yeah, they can.
Okay.
Because it's not always obvious.
Right.
Right. Like, where do you even start?
So they can help you meet people.
They can. It's really cool, actually. So, like we were saying, this whole thing about networking is huge.
Yeah.
And RoleCatcher, they get that. They understand.
Okay.
So they built these tools right into their platform.
Okay. So you're not just like
It's not just like a boring old job board.
putting your resume
It's like, forget those, Those are so old school.
on like a million different.
This is like the cool kids club for like artisans
job boards?
It's way better.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then,
So you can actually connect with other artisans directly through RoleCatcher.
really?
Yeah, it's really cool. You can find people in your area
Wow.
who specialize in the same things you do.
Oh, yeah.
Or even different things. You know, you might find someone who does like, I don't know, Japanese papermaking, which is totally different than what you're doing, but you can learn from each other, right?
Yeah, that's really neat.
It's really cool. And you can even find mentors in the field.
Through their platform.
Yeah, through the platform. It's
Yeah.
amazing. So like if you're just starting out and you're like, I don't even know
Yeah.
where to begin, you can find someone who's been doing this for like 20 years and they can kind of show you the ropes.
Oh, wow.
It's really cool.
So it's kind of like having a
It's like having a built-in support system,
support system.
which I think is invaluable when you're starting any career, but especially something like artisan papermaking,
Right.
where it can feel very solitary. You know, you're in your studio
By yourself.
by yourself all day, just you and the paper.
Mm.
And it's like, sometimes you just need someone to talk to, bounce ideas off of, you know, and RoleCatcher gives you that. It's really cool.
Wow. Okay.
So it's not just about finding the jobs, it's about like building a community,
Right.
which I think is awesome.
Okay, so say we've
Okay, what's next? Let's say you've done all that.
found the community, we're networking,
You're meeting people, you're feeling good.
we're feeling good, we're ready
You're
to
ready to like make this happen.
make this happen.
Yeah, what's the next step? What do we got to do?
Get to that step.
What's the game plan?
Let's say we want to make this our job.
You want to make a living doing this.
How do we
You want to be an artisan papermaker.
actually find work?
How do you actually make money doing this? It's like, we got to pay the bills, right? This
Yeah.
is the real world. So how do you actually find work?
Yeah, what does that look like?
Yeah. That's where it gets really interesting. And again, RoleCatcher kind of breaks this down for you.
They do.
Yeah, they really do. They've thought of everything. It's amazing. So they actually lay out a career progression for you,
Oh, cool.
which I think is really helpful because it's not always clear, right?
Right.
Like, what are the different stages of this career? How do you actually, you know,
Right.
level up?
What does that even look like?
Suddenly,
Yeah, do you just like wake up one day and you're a master artist and it's like, probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not going to happen. So they break it down into these stages, which I think is really helpful. So you can kind of see, like, okay, this is where I am now.
Right.
This is where I want to be.
Mhm.
And these are the steps to get there. So it's really cool. So they have different levels.
Okay.
They have entry level, they have junior artisan, and then they have the big kahuna, the senior artisan papermaker,
Okay. So like
the top of the mountain.
Stop. You're the master.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, and they tell you.
Yeah. And the cool thing is they don't just like tell you what each level is.
Yeah.
They give you examples. Like, this is what my typical day looks like at this stage.
Really?
Yeah. So you can really get a feel for like, okay, what am I actually going to be doing?
That's really good.
What are the tasks? What are the responsibilities? It's really helpful, I think.
Yeah.
So you're not just, you know, left in the dark. You can actually see like, okay, this is what my life could be like.
Let's start at the beginning.
Let's do it.
Entry level.
Ground floor.
Oh, is that?
What are we doing?
What are we doing at that stage?
All right, so you're not expected to be like, you know, reinventing the wheel or anything like that when
Right.
you're first starting out. It's really about absorbing knowledge,
No.
mastering the fundamentals.
So like learning
Learning
from the best.
the craft.
Exactly. So a lot of assisting, observing the more experienced artisans, getting a feel for the different techniques. It's like a paid apprenticeship in a way.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, you're there to learn, to soak it all up.
Okay, and they're cool with that.
Yeah, I mean, everybody starts somewhere, right?
That's true.
Nobody's born a master papermaker.
So what kind of?
Well, maybe some people are, I don't know. But most of us, we got to start somewhere.
Stuff what we...
What are we actually doing?
Yeah. Okay, so you might be mixing pulps, you might be helping with the drying process, you might even be cleaning equipment.
Really?
Yeah, because, you know, somebody's got to do it.
So it's not all
It's not all glamorous.
glamorous.
Yeah, you're going to get your hands dirty. Literally. But the guide emphasizes that, like, even these tasks, they're important because you're learning the craft from the ground up.
Right.
Right. Even just cleaning the equipment, you're understanding how it works,
Okay.
how it affects the paper. So they really emphasize that attention to detail is key here.
Okay. So even if it seems
Even if it seems menial.
kind of boring.
Yeah. Pay attention. Ask questions. Be a sponge.
Gotcha.
That's how you're going to learn.
So it's like
It's like paying your dues.
paying your dues. Yeah. Proving that you're serious about learning this craft And the more you put into it,
Mm-hmm.
the more you're going to get out of it.
Okay.
You're learning the ropes, you're showing that you're invested in this, and then
And you level up.
you level up.
Okay.
Exactly.
What's that like? What do we do?
So this is where you start getting your hands truly dirty, so to speak.
Okay.
This is where it gets real. Junior artisan.
All right. Junior artisan.
So you're given a little more independence.
Okay.
You're not just like, shadowing somebody anymore.
Right.
You're entrusted with more responsibility.
Oh, okay.
So you might be given like a little more creative freedom.
Oh.
Like they might say, hey, we need a batch of this type of paper.
Huh.
Go for it. You're in charge.
Wow.
So you're creating batches of pulp, experimenting with textures. Maybe you're even troubleshooting some minor issues.
Oh, wow.
Because things don't always go perfectly right.
Right.
Even for the masters. So you're starting to like problem solve on your own.
Okay. So less watching, more doing at this stage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Less shadowing, more doing,
Okay.
more hands-on.
And this is where you'd really develop your...
Yeah, this is where you find your own style, I think.
Wait,
You start to understand like the subtle differences in the paper,
Right, okay.
how different fibers behave, how different drying techniques affect the final product. You're really starting to get into the nitty-gritty of it.
So you need a good eye for detail then.
Absolutely. Attention to detail is still crucial. And the guide stresses the importance of problem solving at this stage, too.
Okay, so you're saying even though I might be on my own a little bit more...
You're not totally on your own. You still have people you can ask for help, but
Right.
they really want you to start, like, figuring things out for yourself.
So, like, if a batch comes out wrong, I don't just, like, throw it away and pretend it didn't happen?
No. You got to figure out what went wrong. So, like, a
Yeah.
batch might come out too thin,
Okay.
or the drying process isn't quite right. And they expect the junior artisan to at least identify the issue
Okay.
and maybe even propose a solution.
So, like, a blend of creativity and analytical thinking then, which is really neat.
Yeah, you got to use both sides of your brain, which is really cool because you're not just like blindly following a recipe anymore.
Right.
You're understanding the why behind each step.
Right, okay.
And that's where the real artistry comes in. When you can start improvising,
Okay.
troubleshooting on the fly, that's when you know you're really starting to get it.
And then, do I get to mentor somebody?
Maybe. That's the other cool thing about this stage. As you gain mastery,
Okay.
there's potential for mentoring. You might be training new entry-level artisans,
Oh, wow.
passing on the knowledge you've gained,
Oh, cool.
which, that in itself is a valuable skill, shows leadership potential.
Right.
So you're not just making paper, you're helping to shape the next generation of paper makers.
Okay, so that's entry level and junior artisan. We got to talk about
The big one,
senior
the top tier.
artisan. What is it like? What sets those people apart?
Okay, so imagine a master chef
Okay.
who not only creates the most exquisite dishes, right? But they also run a tight ship in the kitchen.
Right.
They're managing a team. They're overseeing every detail.
Okay. So you're not just making the paper.
You're conducting the orchestra. You're the maestro.
Okay. And I'm in charge of making sure that everybody else is doing what they need to do
Exactly.
and that the quality is still there.
Quality control is huge because at this level, you're probably working with, high-end clients, people who
Right.
are expecting the best of the best.
Yeah.
So you're overseeing a team of artisans, you're ensuring that quality control, but you're also like pushing the boundaries, right?
Okay.
You're not just doing the same old thing every day. You're experimenting with new techniques. You're maybe even coming up with your own unique styles of papermaking.
Wow. So you're kind of like an inventor too.
Yeah, a little bit. There's definitely an element of that. It's like, how can we innovate? How can we push this craft forward? How can we create something truly unique and special? And importantly, you're collaborating with other departments too.
Wait, other departments? I thought we were talking about a papermaking studio, not like a Fortune 500 company.
Well, even in a smaller studio, you're still going to be working with other people.
Okay.
Right. Like you might be working with designers who need specific types of paper for their projects.
Right.
Or you might be working with, sales teams who need to understand like the unique qualities of your paper so they can sell it.
Right. Okay.
So you're not just like this lone wolf artisan in your studio anymore.
Right.
You got to be able to communicate. You got to be able to collaborate.
So maybe even like a salesperson? A little bit.
Yeah. You got to be able to sell your work, sell your vision.
Okay. So you're not just like a master craftsperson.
You're like a conductor.
You're
leading an orchestra of talent, making sure everyone's in sync and you're creating this beautiful symphony of paper.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But okay, to even start this whole journey,
You got to get that first job.
Yeah, you got to get hired.
Yeah.
And this is where RoleCatcher goes from being like a cool guide to being a total game changer.
Completely agree. It's one thing to dream about a career.
Yeah.
It's another thing to actually make it happen.
To navigate that whole world.
The job hunt, the applications, it can be so daunting.
Yeah. Especially because, like we were saying, you have to be able to market yourself.
Yes, especially if you're freelancing or if you want to be self-employed. You got to build a brand.
Right. And RoleCatcher actually gives you the tools to do that.
They do. They've really thought of everything. It's like they took all the stress points of job hunting and they're like, nope, we got you.
They took all the annoying parts of it.
They really did. They're like, we're going to make this easy for you.
So instead of like sending out the same resume to a million different places and hoping
it's a waste of time.
that something sticks.
Nobody wants to do that. It's soul-crushing.
RoleCatcher's like, we're going to make you a profile. We're going to showcase your awesome skills.
Yeah. Show off your talents. Tell the world what you're good at. Don't be shy.
And then they'll help you connect with people who are looking for that.
Exactly. It's like, imagine a dating app, but for artisans and employers.
Huh?
It's like a match made in heaven. You're putting your best foot forward. You're saying, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I'm passionate about. And then employers are on the other side looking for you.
Oh, wow.
It's so much better than the old way of doing things.
So it's like RoleCatcher plays matchmaker.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And then remember how we were talking about networking?
Yeah. Crucial, right?
How important that is, especially in a field like this.
Absolutely.
RoleCatcher actually has stuff built in for that too.
They do. They have tools for that right on the platform. It's incredible.
You're not just like on your own once you make your profile.
No, they're with you every step of the way. It's like having a career coach in your pocket.
Yeah.
You can connect with other artisans,
Right.
find mentors in the field, even potential collaborators for future projects.
So it's not even just about finding a job.
It's about building a community.
It's about finding your people.
Exactly.
That's really cool.
Which is so important because, like we were saying, starting any career can be isolating.
Yeah.
But especially something like artisan papermaking, where it's like you're often in your own headspace, right?
Yeah.
You're in your studio, you're surrounded by paper. It's like you need that human connection.
To bounce ideas off of.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher gives you that. So it's really, it's not just a job board. It's like a community hub.
So you've got the detailed career guide. We've got job searching tools. We've got the platform for networking and community building. And people can explore all this for free.
For free. Can you believe it?
That's amazing.
It's incredible. It's like they're saying, we believe in this craft so much.
Yeah.
We want to make it accessible to everyone. So here are all the tools you need. Go make some beautiful paper.
Wow. That's really cool.
It's awesome.
So before we wrap up this deep dive, imagine you're an employer now. You're looking for someone with really specific papermaking skills.
Okay, yeah. I like where you're going with this.
So like maybe someone who specializes in archival quality paper for like really important documents.
Right. Super niche.
Or someone who can create custom watermarks for like a fancy hotel.
Yeah, like the Ritz-Carlton or something. Very specific.
How do you even find those people?
Right. It's like, where do you even start? Do you just like put an ad in the newspaper and hope for the best? It's like, that's not going to work.
So RoleCatcher's like, we got you.
Really?
We got you covered. So as an employer, you can go on RoleCatcher.
Okay.
And you can search their database of skilled artisans.
So it's not just for people looking for jobs.
It's for employers, too. It's amazing.
Yeah. It's like a two-way street. So these employers can go on there. They can search for people with these very specific skills.
Wow.
And they know that these people are pre-vetted. They're passionate about their craft.
Right.
They're looking for work.
It's like flipping the script on traditional job hunting.
It totally is. It's brilliant. And it's so much more efficient for everyone involved.
Right. So it's not just like who you know anymore.
Exactly. It's about connecting talent with opportunity.
That's amazing. So I love this idea of bringing this like traditional craft into the future a little bit.
Into the digital age.
Yeah.
Making it more accessible, more connected.
Yeah. Awesome. So anyone listening who's feeling inspired, maybe wants to explore this as a career, all the information about RoleCatcher is going to be in our show notes. Check it out. And maybe you'll be the one creating these incredible pieces of paper that we're all like, how do they do that?
Exactly. And if you do, please let us know. We want to see your work.
Yeah.
Until then, keep those minds curious, those hands creating, and we'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.